bought a bicycle about 2 months ago in Japan, has gotten very serious about his bicycle rules all of a sudden. So I don't know if it was I did it. I don't think I'm that famous or popular yet. What has happened though is they haven't really changed the rules. They're just going to enforce them, and they've introduced fines for bicycle violations. So it's called the blue ticket system. And I think it's just a different kind of ticket specific for bicycles. So if you use your phone while riding your bicycle, it's a 12,000 yen fine. That's the biggest one. If you run a red light, if you don't come to a complete stop, if you like zip past pedestrians on the sidewalk and stuff, if you cause trouble, you're going to get in trouble and you're going to get a fine. You get one of these blue tickets. I mean, I think it's actually pretty reasonable. I bought a helmet. I know not every prefecture in Japan actually has helmet laws, but I bought a helmet not because I was worried about safety, but more because I was like, I don't want the cops to stop me and give me a hard time about not wearing a helmet. What they want to do then is promote this and advertise this and make sure people know what's going on. Now you're in Japan. What is the best way to introduce information to the citizens of Japan? You make a mini anime and you put it on the internet. It's called Forever Safety Doki Doki Cycling. Doki Doki is the your heartbeat. Doki 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 Doki. It's a YouTube video, and they got the Dragon Ball Z voice actor to play 3 different roles, all sexy cops. Basically, this is supposed to be like one of those visual novels. And I think if it was a game, you would choose like which cop you end up dating. But it's just sort of giving the premise. She rides her bicycle. She commits a crime. Sexy cop stops her and has a talk with her about how you shouldn't be committing crimes, baby. You should be making love to me. And then she goes and commits a different crime. Different sexy cop shows up and then gives her a little talk about how she shouldn't be committing crime. She should be spending time with him. Again, I'm not against this. I think laws should be enforced. And I think if you want to fine people for breaking laws, there are 2 issues that have come up. The first one is single mothers who maybe don't have multiple modes of transportation. They might just have a bicycle. And if you have more than one kid, you got to put a kid on the back and a kid in the front. That's illegal. So now there's these poor women who want to get their kids to, say, daycare or school so that they can go to work or something. And they're not legally allowed to get them there on their bicycle, which is a very common way of transporting children in Japan if you are a mom. But it's also brought up a secondary issue of if you're going to be fining people for breaking rules, you have to make accommodations for people so they don't have to break the rules. So this is leading people in Japan to demand sort of bicycle lanes. And I will tell you, I am quite happy to ride on the sidewalk in Japan. I'm careful. I'm not going to go too fast. I'm not going to scare pedestrians. I would be absolutely terrified to ride on the road along with traffic because Japanese drivers, at least the area I live in is famous for really bad drivers, and they scare me. I walk from my house to my train station, and I would say once a month I almost get hit by a car. And I almost get hit by a car because these are people who lived in this area for a long time, their whole life, maybe 60, 70 years. And they're like, I know these roads, and they're barreling down the roads. They do know the roads. They know the turns, they know the bumps, they know all these little things about them, but they don't know if someone's standing on them around a corner. And they take corners and they just barrel down these roads. It's terrifying. I would say once a month I come close to dying because old people are just overconfident in their driving abilities in the roads. On a bicycle, along with traffic, yeah, I don't trust them. A bicycle lane would be minimum. I actually would prefer a larger sidewalk so I could ride on the sidewalk away from the cars. I'm just too scared of the cars. There was a list published of the most profitable media franchises of all time at the time of publishing, because GTA 6 is going to come out. I don't know if that's going to be included. It wasn't video games specifically, like a specific thing. It was sort of a all-encompassing thing, because we have 12, the top 12. Number 2, it was just surprising how many of these are actually Japanese properties. So the number 12 was Dragon Ball. Now, Dragon Ball, I assume, includes the cartoon, the video games, merch, other cards, whatever. Everything else they've made that's connected to Dragon Ball to get it to this level. Number 11 was Wizarding World, which is Harry Potter. Wizarding World sounds very specific. I guess they produce Harry Potter stuff. Or is that the actual Harry Potter amusement park? I'm not 100% sure. Number 10 is Jump Comics. So that's going to be Jump Comics, the base comic, where they produce the content, the animes that spin off those or copy them, the merchandise that then is expanded from that universe. So you can see how they have multiple properties within the umbrella of Jump Comics. Number 9, Marvel. I mean, that's pretty much given. Number 8, Disney Princess. So I don't know. I guess that's all the princesses included in one thing, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. Because if it's just Marvel, I guess it's every Marvel property included. Number 7, I was actually very surprised by this. It's Anpanman. Anpanman is a Japanese superhero for little kids. He's been around for like 50 years, maybe longer. I hate him. I hate everything about him. I think he teaches kids really bad lessons. I don't think this is the kind of show you want to show your children. I banned it in my household. My kids were not really allowed to watch Anpanman, and I was very against Anpanman from the beginning because his solution to every problem is to punch Biking. Biking Man is his nemesis, his opponent in all these stories. He's doing something nice. Biking Man wants to destroy it, or he's building something, vice versa. And they're always at odds. Functionally, what the show is Anpanman goes around and helps people, and then Biking Man's, well, I want some of that too, so I'm just going to go take it. And really, if Anpanman, and then Anpanman punches him in the face, and that's it, end of the story. But if Anpanman just gave Biking Man some of the food, like he's giving everybody else he runs into, problem solved. So his kindness extends to everyone except Biking Man, and that seems to be the core issue. Not a fan of Anpanman. It teaches kids to punch their problems, which I disagree with. Number 6, Mario, which I think would be Nintendo, but I guess it's the Mario franchise specifically. This is what I would like a little bit of explanation as to what is included in this, because to me, Mario would be part of Nintendo. Nintendo, therefore, would be number 5 or lower because they also include other things. Number 6, sorry. Number 5 was Star Wars. Number 4, Mickey Mouse. Number 3, Winnie the Pooh. I'm surprised Winnie the Pooh was that high. It's been around forever, but I'm surprised it's as large as it is. Number 2, also very surprised by this one, Hello Kitty. And number 1, not a big surprise, Pokemon. That list of 12 items, 6, half of the top 12 are Japanese franchises. So I think the reason I wanted to go over this list is because half of the top 12 franchises, media, and enterprises in the world are all Japanese, which was a bigger surprise than I thought. I was like, oh, there's going to be a couple. I didn't think Hello Kitty was going to be as high as it was. I didn't think Anpanman was going to be as high as it was, because we're talking about the world. But having half of the top 12 franchises come from the same country is pretty impressive. A man in his 70s was defrauded of 320 million yen, including cash, gold bars, gold coins, in a romance and investment scam. And I feel really bad because he's in his 70s, which would lead me to believe if he's falling for this kind of scam, he's very lonely. He's probably very bored. He has a lot of money, but he's not doing anything with it. So yeah, I feel bad because it's that isolation of maybe age that has helped him fall into this trap, because he just wants to have something happening in his life. He gave 21 gold bars and 16 gold coins. Total side story here. I have no idea where to buy gold bars or gold coins. And if I had gold bars or gold coins, I would have no idea what to do with them. It's one of those things where, like, conceptually, it seems like, oh yeah, you have gold bars and they're valuable. But if you don't know how to sell them, they're not valuable anymore. I don't know what to do with a gold bar. I don't know how to get a good price. And 23 million yen in cash. He made 10 payments over a variety of times, so a combination. He was on his phone or computer and he clicked on an internet ad and he started talking online. Line is the messaging system that's really, really famous in Japan. To a woman named Sato. Now, we would have to put woman in quotes because we don't know if it was really a woman. This being the internet, my base assumption, creepy dude. But the creepy dude is leading him on. He's sort of catfishing him. And this 70-year-old man has ended up developing feelings for her because he enjoyed the conversations. He enjoyed the attention. Again, it sort of leads me to believe he was very lonely and isolated, and which is a big problem. She introduced him to an AI investment system, and he then downloaded a fake app that displayed profits. So basically, he would put money into this system and then it would change, it would grow. He would get more money every time. And he was like, wow, this is amazing. But it was just like a GIF that someone had produced, or I don't know if it was being manipulated in real time or what, or it was just updated irregularly, or it was just like an AI app that will just like, let's just keep the number going up. But it was fake. It was not connected to anything real. They then convinced him that it would be better if a representative came to collect the gold personally. And they're saying he could get 3 billion yen in profit if they gave him X amount of gold. It would require a service fee. So if you gave him the gold plus a little bit of cash, then we'll put that in. You'll get this massive payout a little while later. When he was unable to withdraw any of his returns, that's when he got suspicious. So he went and he was on the app and he's like, you know what? I have millions of yen in here. I just give them a lot of money. It's time for me to withdraw a little money because I got to buy something, or I got to pay for something, or I got to like fix up something in the house. Couldn't withdraw any money. And that's when it became a realization that, yes, this is a scam. He went to the police. Honestly, there's not much the police can do about it, which is really sad. This is an ongoing problem in Japan. A lot of the scams are targeting older people, and they're more easily manipulated because they want to have this interaction. They want to be entertained. They want to have connection with humanity. And that is the bit they're exploiting, which makes it, extra gross. I made a quiz for this, but okay, I had a really bad night last night. I got home from work. I went to bed. I don't think anyone in my family had taken Dave out, so I went to bed. Dave sleeps next to me. Dave wouldn't go to sleep. He was up every hour or so making noise, so I didn't sleep very well. I get up in the morning. My son's taking my lunch. I got really, I was furious. It's unreasonable. He saw food that was wrapped up for lunch. He took it for lunch. When I think about it logically, it's fine. But in the moment, emotionally, I was like, he stole my lunch like a bully. So I was in a bad mood. But I'm getting it back together. Again, it's just one of those things. It's moods, emotions. They're just something you have to learn to control yourself. There's not much you can do about it. But I forgot to set up someone to talk to me to do the quiz that I'd set up. I was doing quizzes for a while and they were really good. And then I got really busy and I just wasn't having that forethought to organize someone to join me for a quiz. I enjoyed doing that. I want to do it again. If you listen to Ninja Juice Japan and you would like to participate in a quiz, you can send me an email at chunkmabeefchest@gmail.com, or you can send me a voice message at speakpipe.com/chunkmabeefchest. And I will arrange a time. We can have a Discord call or a Zoom call and you can answer some goofy questions. We can have a talk about where you're from and what you know about Japan, what you like about Japan. The conversation is the best part. I had a really great conversation before. We talked for like 40 or 50 minutes and I only took 10 minutes because the quiz part and put it in on the stuff that was relevant to Japan. But I had a really great conversation about where that person was from. Really, really enjoyed it. If you would like to have a similar conversation, I would love to have you as a guest on the show. But I'll include the quiz and you can kind of try to guess the answer and then we can move on. So 9 p.m., the Shibuya Crossing, the famous Shibuya Crossing. Talked about it last time or the time before, where some lady had like veered right and like body checked a little girl onto the road. It was really awful. A man in his 50s walks out into the street and he puts a piece of cardboard down. He pours a liquid on it and, here's the quiz, A, starts rolling in it. B, starts removing his clothes. C, sets it on fire. Or D, walks away and people start to slip on it. That was a pretty good quiz. If you didn't know the story, it would be really hard to guess, because as soon as I say 50-year-old man and you're a fan of Ninja News Japan, you've been listening for a while, you know it should be something weird and sexual. But in this case, it wasn't. It was C is the correct answer. He sets it on fire. Now, what happened after that? It was actually quite a large flame. So the liquid he poured on it, probably kerosene or something like that. It seemed like it wasn't gasoline. Gasoline tends to go up very violently. This went up quickly. He walks away. Police show up and they douse it with fire. But kerosene or whatever liquid he used doesn't mix with the water. So that actually just spreads the flames out. And then other cops out, puts more water on it, spreading the flames even further. So in my view, everyone's kind of failing at the job because there was something written on the cardboard. But because he threw it down and set it on fire, no one could actually see what was written on it, which means you're failing. You had a message you want to deliver and you're failing at delivering your message. The police come, they want to put out the fire and they end up spreading the fire. They failed at their job. Then 30 minutes later, the man turns himself into the police and they think something was written on the cardboard. Now, the next day we found out something was written on the cardboard because this guy's X account was found and they showed that he had made preparations. It was like something.com. I think it was his name.com. And then it said, Japan has been taken over. Now, we have to assume logically speaking, he's talking about foreign people have taken over Japan. We don't know because his sentence isn't actually complete enough. So Japan has been taken over. Could be aliens. It could be foreign people. It could be capitalism. Who knows? But I think if you're going to do your manifesto, you can do a whole manifesto in 1 or 2 sentences. It has to be a complete sentence with a full idea. You can't just say something's happened. You have to say who and the why. So foreigners have taken over Japan. Good. Maybe the problem, or maybe he was being smart, because saying that might actually be hate speech. Whereas you just say Japan has been taken over and you're vague about it. It's not technically hate speech because you're not attacking any group or individual or anything like that. That actually might be what happened here. Maybe he's smarter than I'm giving him credit for. He's a 50-year-old man. I don't give 50-year-old men in Ninja News Japan Stories any credit at all because I just immediately default to creepy old dude doing creepy old dude things. We do know that he's a member of Sanseito. Sanseito is the right-wing political group in Japan that is trying to basically say foreigners out. We don't want foreigners here. We want to go back to traditional Japanese values. Make Japan great again. All those kind of things are included in the Sanseito message. It's pretty predictable. This guy being a part of that turned out to be also a bit of a surprise because his job is hip-hop teacher at a hip-hop academy. Now, the only reason that surprises me because if you appreciate hip-hop, there's a certain segment or population that would be given sort of, I would say, more credit for the creation and the dissemination of hip-hop. Maybe at this point it could be like K-pop, other stuff. They all use hip-hop elements. But if you like hip-hop, I think you have to appreciate a certain element of the population. So him embracing that cultural aspect of the world and then rejecting foreigners in Japan seems very contradictory to me. So how can you go around saying you want traditional Japan, traditional Japanese stuff, but you also want to do hip hop and you listen to urban music? It might be the most white way I could say that. But you know what I mean? Like it's like there's a dichotomy going on there where he's like got this international flavor to the thing he does, but he's also got these very conservative views. But that also might just because he's 50 and he's been hitting the head too much in his life and he's gone slightly insane, because it seems like every Japanese man that's 50 has gone slightly insane. A 44-year-old junior high school teacher was arrested for groping. This is Chika, groping a woman on the train. Now, that in itself is not much of a story. We see this kind of story all the time, but often the guy gets away because it's very hard to prove. Only recently do I know, like I'm not even sure if they have cameras on all the trains, but I knew like most of the trains I took didn't have cameras on them. And it was one of those things I would have been a proponent for. I'd be like, you got to put cameras on the trains so that you can catch these people so they can actually get in trouble, because they would do like grabbing ladies all over the place. They would go on the internet and get a whole bunch of these creepy dudes together and they would all like crowd around a woman at the same time. Like it's terrifying stuff that they're organizing this into like little wolf packs of perversion. In this case, there is a silver lining to the story because the woman he molested was an undercover cop. So it's a lot harder to say anything or do anything when the person is a person of authority in your society. Identified herself as a police officer, said you're under arrest for molestation. I have no recollection of pressing my crotch against the woman. So it turns out my image is the creepy dude sidles up to a woman and either pushes his body against her or like touches her with his hands. It seems like this guy bent his knees at an awkward angle and tried to push his crotch up into the woman's butt. So you got to imagine, it's really hard to imagine this is the problem with this being an audio format. I would stand up and show you on the video, but there's no point. 99% of the people who listen to Ninja News Japan, they listen in audio format. So he's doing a partial squat into the woman standing in front of him. I would really like to know how busy the train was, because if it was empty, this would look particularly weird. But it's also, I don't know. I do always end up in the position of like, what did he expect to happen? Did he expect her to go like, ooh, I like this. This is fun. I mean, in pornography, that is what would happen. That's what pornography would teach you, is like you push yourself into the woman and she's like, ooh, this is nice. And then, something happens. The woman, the police officer, is part of the anti-groping patrol. So maybe cameras are good. I think anti-groping patrols even better. This happened at 8:25 in the morning. I mean, I'm never horny at 8:25 in the morning because it takes me a long time to get started. Like, I'm not going to be creepy and horny until after 10 o'clock. I think that's pretty much fair. And I don't drink coffee, so I have to, get warmed up naturally. For 7 minutes. So this is a 7-minute semi-squat. I mean, okay, we're going to give everyone credit for when they do something. That's pretty impressive. He did a 7-minute squat. He bent his knees to push against her, and he probably thought if he didn't use his hands, he might get out of it. So there might be a secondary implication of like, he has his hand holding onto the ring up for balance, and he's not touching her with his hand. Maybe he has his hand in the pocket. And then if he rolls with the train, he bumps into her, and he could say it was accidental. It was my supposition. There's nothing to actually say that's what he was thinking. She followed him off the train. He was arrested, and I would like to see a lot more arrests like this because I actually think it's funny. Kumamoto city worker. So he was in the local government. He's suspended for 4 months because he spent 93 hours watching porn at work and manga. But I think the porn might be the more important thing. He also would be at home and download videos or images off the internet, put them on a USB, and then bring that to work, put the USB into his computer at work, and then watch that at work. So I don't know if he was so obsessed he was watching at home and work, or if he was like curating a selection from home to bring to work so he would have a better, more productive day. He had his pay cut in 2018 for browsing He had his pay cut in 2018 for browsing non-work related sites. The excuse is the excuse. Now, basically, there is one all-encompassing excuse for any sort of negative behavior in Japan. He said work-related stress and lack of ethical considerations. There was a blurring of personal and professional life. But if you've already been caught for something and you've already gotten in trouble for something, and then you do it more, and I think AV is more noticeable. So your coworkers are going to notice you're looking at this. Your coworkers are going to be uncomfortable by this. That's really, you're going to get caught and you're going to get in trouble. I think my whole thing about doing stuff at work that you're not supposed to do is you can't inconvenience anyone else. A lot of the stories we do on Into Japan about people in the government specifically getting in trouble for doing stuff at work that they're not supposed to do is because someone reports them. And that someone who reports them is probably, in my view, been inconvenienced by them or disgusted by, so maybe they're very anti-pornography. They would be disgusted by this behavior. That is where you have to make sure everyone around you is at least ambivalent. It would be better if they were satisfied with you as a coworker, but at least ambivalent. They don't care about you or what you do. And then you have some boundaries you can push. But if you push too far past those boundaries, you're going to get in trouble. And if you piss off your coworkers, you're absolutely going to get in trouble. So at least buy your coworkers lunch or something. I don't know what would balance the scales in this instance, but this guy clearly just was in his own world, and his own world was just full of naked ladies. YouTuber Nana has a fan page for 500 yen a month. This will include diary and illustration. So if you're a fan of this VTuber, you can see her fake diary entries. I don't know if they're real or fake, but I'm just going to assume if you're doing a VTubing thing, you're creating a character. That character has a diary, and in that diary, you make up stuff that happens every day. But there are different tiers, like Patreon and stuff. There are always different tiers for subscriptions. The cheapest one is 500 yen. The most expensive is 100,000 yen a month, and it's called the Idol Girlfriend Plan. You get one-on-one calls. I don't know if they're video calls or just phone calls with Nana. You get exclusive gaming sessions so you can play video games with Nana. And currently there is only one slot available. So to make it rare, they've made just one slot. So one person can become Nana's fake boyfriend who's paying for it. They're considering adding more slots because, of course, there are a certain amount of people who are interested in it. Once one person sort of opens that door and one person does it, other people are more likely to do it. Other people are more likely to do the same thing or spend the same amount of money because they see it as a viable option. The only problem was, like, if I was paying 100,000 yen for the girlfriend experience, I would want my girlfriend to be sort of exclusive. So once I found out she was getting 100,000 yen from someone else, like, I understand the money situation. She needs to make her money. I'd be like, nah, but you're not really my girlfriend anymore. You're just everyone's girlfriend. And I'd be a little sad. And I guess that's when she could up the price. So you could get it to a certain point where, okay, 5 other guys want to have the girlfriend experience. If you're willing to pay 600,000 yen, then you get exclusivity because you're paying for the slots those guys would have taken. And maybe she could spend more time doing it. And I'm wondering now if it's a team or other people who just make it all seem like it's exclusive. This is a waste of money. Please don't do this. A senior female manager has gotten in trouble for sexual harassment. And this is just so refreshing. In Ninja News Japan, we have so many 50-year-old men who have this just story that I've now actually, it's become a blasé thing. A woman in her 50s has been reprimanded. She dressed up, this was like sort of an event, a party for her division and a couple other divisions that were close to hers in the government. She dressed up as Myaku Myaku, which is the very weird virus-looking mascot from Expo. There'll be, it's like a ring, a red ring with multiple eyeballs. It is very off-putting. She was dressed up as that at the company party. Oh, this wasn't government. This was a company party. There were 30 employees from multiple divisions. She made a male subordinate put on a costume, like a skin-tight costume with bells and strings. Now, there was a certain area emphasized. You could say the string might have been more like a bow, and it was a certain area, and then the bells were placed very specifically so that it would look like a certain thing. Then she directed other employees to go up and worship his lower abdomen. People didn't want to, but they felt uncomfortable. They felt forced. A department director was also reprimanded for not stopping her. So he was in the room. He saw her doing this and he didn't get up and stop her. So he's also gotten in trouble. But she did this. And again, what is going on in your head that you think this is a good idea? I'm going to dress up one of my coworkers. I'm going to make other coworkers come up and worship his crotch area that has now been dressed up with like string and ribbons and bells to emphasize it. And this is team building? I don't know. So maybe we're going to have a Ninja News Japan meetup, a party, and at that party we'll do something similar and we'll see if we all feel more connected or really grossed out. And I can tell you which one. If I'm wearing the costume, I can tell you which one it's going to be.